What's up, YouTube? This is Anthony. I'm going to be cutting up some smoker wood. I've got a bunch of apple wood here, and I'm going to cut it into thin coins, and then I'm going to split them into small baseball-sized chunks and bag them up. A lot of this wood is rotten, so I have to pick through it. Sometimes it rots right in the center. You start seeing the orange colored circles, and that's where it's really rotten, and it's gonna give a bad smell when it's smoking. So you gotta know what wood is. I mean, obviously this tree is rotten, so you can see the discoloration. The coloration in the apple is supposed to be like this right through, but it gets this nice like auburn color when it's split open. You gotta watch, you start getting these orange circles, and that's how you know it's too rotten. You can see it looks a little fuzzy too. That's what happens to fruit trees. Now see, it's got this knot here, so I'm gonna flip it on the other side. It's gonna crack better. It's around here somewhere. Something's holding this one up, and I don't know if it's that knot. We'll see. Wow, it's being really stubborn. Let's flip it over. It's right through on this side. Yeah, see, it cracked the other way, so I got to crack it right here, and then I'll open it up. There we go. I really want to take a picture of this in the daylight because of that nice auburn color. It's a good seller for my smoker wood, for the picture for my ad. One guy asked me about it. He said, oh well, what about the wood that looks like that color? I said, oh, it just looks like that when it's split open, so it loses its color. He didn't realize that. Now you can see this wood here, it's starting to rot, and you can see it's getting these little white pits in it, and these little white clusters here. It looks like somebody spilled like flour over it or something. Well, that's when you know it's starting to get too rotten. You see this just pulled out? It's just losing its structural integrity or its density. So I'm going to cut around this. I'm going to cut out the center. One more off the side here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Looks like maybe a little more on this side. This one that I just cracked. That was the easiest one I've done. All of these have been hard to start. More geese just went by. I hate those things because when I go to the boat ramp in the spring, they're there and it's their crap all over the place. So many of them. And since they're a national bird here, there's no hunting for them. But in the US, you guys can hunt for them. But they actually had a calling program, I think, one time. Was it them? I know they did for the cormorants. But yeah, I think they did for the geese. Because there's just so many geese at the parks. And people just come there with big bags of bread and they feed them. So they're just fueling the population. It's always those, the mallard ducks. And the white swans. And then you'll see the cormorants. They don't come around like that close to people. They're pretty afraid of people. But yeah, they had to do a calling program of the cormorants too, because the Leslie Street Spit, which is a big spit of land that juts out from the shore of Lake Ontario, it was built because they thought they were going to build a port, a big port. They thought this was going to be like a port city here. So they built this big spit of land, and it extends out as it goes out, but then there's a couple of pond systems within the boundaries as it goes out, so it opens up pretty wide. Like I think it's like 1 kilometer wide when you get out there or something like that. And all the cormorants started hanging out there. For some reason they started coming into Ontario and they really started inhabiting here. We didn't have them before, but I've noticed all the wildlife come back over the years. So maybe that's why they stopped. They banned the pesticides in the city, so all kinds of wildlife has been coming back. I don't remember there being possums here. I think those are fairly new. They've been here for a number of years, but I think they're fairly new. So those are coming back. Or those are coming in numbers. Not too many, but we used to have a lot of garter snakes here. I don't see those anymore, even still. But there's tons of rabbits now. And there's lots of red-tailed hawks. Those have been doing really well over the last number of years. I think I saw one. I was up close. I'm not sure if it was one of those or if it was an owl. But I was in between two office buildings. It's not downtown, but it's in an area where they just have a bunch of like business buildings and factories and stuff. And then there was a shorter building beside it. So I was down in the middle because they have a loading dock there. I was picking up a bunch of scrap metal for my other business. So I was between the two buildings, and there was a tree there. There's a couple trees, like pine trees and stuff, or spruce, one or the other. And all of a sudden, this giant bird flew from the tree between the buildings and right by me. And it happened the way it wasn't flying quick, but it's just where it was and where it was moving to. I didn't have time to really look at it close up, but I remember it was kind of like white and orange, so that's why I figure it was a red-tailed hawk. So I didn't see the head of it because it was just like it just kind of came this way. I wasn't paying attention. I was doing something else. Maybe I was on my phone or something, but I just remember the sight of it, and I heard the wings flapping, and as it went across, and actually now that I see that, if the wings were flapping, or if you could hear the flap, that wouldn't be an owl, because you can't hear the owls when they're flapping their wings. So it probably was a red-tailed hawk. But like I said, I didn't see the head, and that would have been a dead giveaway. So that was interesting, because that was a big bird. You see all kinds of birds around here, and it might be close up. Yeah, the seagulls are big, but you know, you're used to those. But this bird was more dense. It was a heavier bird than a seagull. It just had like more volume to it. Yeah, we get some deer in the city. They have the river valleys, and the deer come around there. Actually, on the Leslie Spit, they have the coyotes run out there. And there's deer out there too. But overall, it's a small piece of land. There's not much forest on it. It's pretty much open. A lot of it. But how the deer would get over there, I mean, it's possible they get through, but it's all like east of downtown, so it's all like the small older houses. There's some business down there. There's not really like a set of woods that the deer can access it. I mean, there might be some here or there, but there's not like a large wooded area. You know, all they might need is just a corridor to access it, and they can get down there. But I've taken my bike out there, and there's some good pike fishing. But sometimes you don't get any when you get out there. Big stubborn ones, man. This apple's not really fun at all. I'll try it right there. That looks like the easiest part. So you could tell which ends are bulbous, which ends are straight, and the bulbous edges, those are the ones that are going to give you the trouble. Like, see this edge? It's kind of straight there. Yeah, it has that bulb there. That's another limb coming off. But it's straight there, so it'll crack easy there. But if you look at this side, see, it's got that bulge. It's like this. So that's how you know it's a little bit of trouble. How much more do I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Just thinking, it's 13 degrees here, which that would be 26, and it's 54 degrees right now, maybe a little less. Doesn't feel so cold because I'm working. But a friend of mine told me he just went camping for his first time, and he went 3 hours north of here. So if you go 3 hours north of here, it's probably like 3-4 degrees Celsius cooler. And that would be 8 plus 28, so that's 36. So it would be an extra 36 degrees cooler. Is that how much? That doesn't sound right. That sounds like a lot. So that would be 4 and 8 plus 28. Yeah, 36 degrees cooler than the city. So I told him, you might be freezing, man. Not the best time to go. Make the best of what you can, but it's cold. I'll tell you what, I've done winter camping. That's no fun. And you had your fun, but when it came down to the basics, like cooking breakfast, cooking dinner, washing dishes, getting up to go to the washroom in the middle of the night, yeah, that wasn't good. I remember I went camping in August one time. It was windy, and I just got this new boat that season, a 14'3" Princecraft aluminum. Princecraft's a Canadian brand, made in the province of Quebec, and so it was all new and shiny. And the wind came in from the west like all weekend, and it just bashed my boat up against the rocks. And we got up one morning, it was so cold I just didn't want to get out of bed or out of the sleeping bag. And it happened another time in August. I mean, the days were nice, but it can get cool in August here. Like the second week, you know, or maybe a week and a half into August, August 10th, August 15th. Yeah, it can get cold at night. Down to like 36 Fahrenheit. Or no, sorry, down to about maybe 50 degrees Fahrenheit at night. Which would be about 10, 11 degrees Celsius, maybe even cooler. Well, up north, cooler, yeah, for sure. Maybe down to 8. I remember it was close to freezing one Labor Day Monday. But it wasn't like that this year. It wasn't cool in August very much at all. This summer is a hot summer though. And I hated it because actually it was really hot. And didn't they say it was the hottest summer in a long time? Because I thought 2013 was hotter. Because that's when I really got into the firewood. And you know, when you get into something and you're so gung-ho, typical factors that'll set you back, they don't. Well, I got a chainsaw that year for the first time. A little Steel 023 with a 16-inch bar. And I was so happy to get that thing. It made my life a lot easier. Because what I had to do was split what I could and then take a Sawzall and then cut the logs separately to bring them down to size. But I was so determined to, you know, size the wood right and, you know, get wood split that I got that chainsaw and I just went out and I cut as much as I could. I split as much as I could. I had an electric log splitter at that time. But it was so hot. It was like 30 to 33 degrees every day that summer pretty much. And it's surprising that this summer was actually hotter, because it didn't seem like it was as hot, although it was right up there. But 33 degrees, yeah, that's like 94 degrees Celsius. Yeah, roughly 90 to 95 like the whole summer. It's not good to run the chainsaw in that kind of weather too. It's just too hot. It's a little tricky, but I'm hitting in the right place, so it's gonna split. split in the middle easy. Yeah. There you go. This piece looks pretty easy. Okay, progress report. We got about half a crate, maybe a little more, but there's already some in there before, so I did a little less than half a crate. But I'm just gonna cut up what I can over there and then pack it at the back because I really want to get into that other wood. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and all that good stuff.